My name is Bob Nagle, and welcome to the Quad B channel. December 4th, golden rays of sunshine. I jinxed those, the Nagle jinx, right then and there. Blinding, golden rays of sunshine. Find a different time to do this, I would think. Fortunate son. It's Florida, baby. So, my sleep last night, I had 4 hours, approximately. I feel great today. But I don't feel great as far as this goes. What I've just been seeing about the New York City with the involuntary commitment that they're trying to employ there. Okay, where do I begin? It's basic, it's a lower standard as far as they're trying to change the wording of this law. And now it's a basic human needs. If you're not meeting basic human needs, you can be involuntarily committed. Now, who can do that? Let me think. They say first responders. And as I've noted, first responders numerous times are officials with the badge and the hat and the gun, the police. And what's the record with the police responding to mental health calls? A, they can make that throw you in with no recourse. So whatever that commitment is, 72 hours, and then they treat and street you. Not whatever. But, yeah, it's something that's just unbelievable. Well, it's the stigma, too. It's the stigma because they look at people with mental illness, like I said yesterday, but it's schizophrenia. Everyone's terrified of schizophrenia. But basically, schizophrenia leads to drug abuse. It's like freaking bipolar, man, with cousins. It leads to it leads to, I'm sorry, it's not freaking homeless. It's not funny. Homelessness and drug abuse and, other issues, obviously. And, but they're demonized. Our brothers with schizophrenia, brothers and sisters. And now, I've seen the thing concerning mental illness in New York City. I saw a documentary, and a lot of people were saying they were bipolar, and so or living with bipolar. So that's coming everywhere, man. That's the beginning, I think. They can't find an answer. Homelessness is a problem because they freaking don't fund any mental health care, which is interesting. Okay, so mental health. Most access in the States, United States of America, the best access for mental health is Massachusetts. Of course it would be. There's 5,000 social workers for every person, which is ridiculous, but good. Which is, yeah, so it's got 1 million, but you know what? You can't pay for it. So, they're freaking good at it. Right? And when you call, like I said, when I called for a therapist, it was like a month, and there's 7,000 of them. And, yeah, that's a little ridiculous. But, and then the other one, the worst access in the United States of America is Florida. It's number 10, I'm sorry. So, I just thought that was interesting. Florida, once again, I haven't been able to, once I first moved down there, I tried to find one, and Christ, it was impossible. I even had my sister try, I don't know if I said that, who knows. But this whole thing, man, it's just bringing us back to the days when we were chained to the wall. Again, they're going to chain us to the wall with the medication. Imagine just, they say no one has a right to, no human being should live in their own filth, or because God's thinking they're telling them to, or whomever, or whatever. That's horrible. That's horrible, that degree of mental illness. But to put them now, involuntarily, where are they going to put them, man? Where are they going to put all our brothers and sisters living with bipolar and schizophrenia? They put them in freaking jail, man. I talk about that. I worked at a jail. When the beginning of that deinstitutional was coming in the 80s, man, I saw it. It's fucking horrible. I'm sorry, I hate this word. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. And nobody cares. In China, you're kind of blowing in the wind or swimming against the freaking tidal wave. Because that tidal wave now is just the able-minded just saying, hey, get them out of here, man. They're homeless, I want to see them. They always say drug abuse. That ticks me off. Drug abuse is a main thing of mental illness, okay? So, in other words, drug abusers, crazy people, throw them in jail. We don't want to look at them anymore. We don't want them anymore. We don't want to see them. We don't want to be afraid. It's just as a pushing, it's just been horrible incidents in New York City, obviously. The guy with the gun, with a mental health thing, and then pushing poor unsuspecting individuals in front of a trolley and horrible things like that. Those are isolated instances, man. Come on. So, it's like saying all Irish are fighters. That's kind of what might be true. I think that's a bad analogy. But to categorize someone is freaking ridiculous, man. This is unbelievable that we regress to this. Doing this for, how many days I've done this? I never thought that it would actually come to fruition. And like I said, when I lived up there and I was getting harassed by the neighbors and the police, I didn't trust the goddamn police. I didn't. They were against me. Imagine now they could have just freaking committed me and thrown me in. There's no recourse because they decide. They say they're not psychiatrists and psychologists. They don't want to deal with it. It's not their job. They got to do this. Yeah, I was a freaking cop, man. You got to deal with everything. Have some freaking responsibility, but not the responsibility to say, "Hey, you don't look right." What's your discretion going to be? What's their guidelines? If you're disheveled, if you're talking to yourself, where you're sitting, what the hell, man? I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. This is bullshit. We should all be afraid of this. I think it's just something, the beginning of the end for us mental illness, as far as the medication didn't work. So we're going back. Going back to the old freaking way of locking us up. And maybe they'll open the old institutions that they haven't freaking sold off. And throw everyone back in there that's not meeting a police officer's standard of basic human Basic human need is a freaking carte blanche for the cops. If you're in a mental health crisis, you get 16 times more likely to get shot by the cops. How much more likely? I'd like to see the percentages of those cops that are throwing people in jail. As soon as they do that, and as soon as it's like 6 months, it's going to be freaking phenomenal. And everybody's going to say, "Oh, the streets are great now." Able-minded, man. They don't really give a flying crap. And they just think of us as, like I said, man, either they cause harm, more though, cause harm to other people. And that's it, man. So, I'm living in a state of madness here today. Madness as far as me being mad, and the madness in this stinking able-minded world. Just to discard us, throw us away, put us away, right? I'm a bipolar survivor. Mad power, no rainbow into the rain. Florida, baby. My name's Bob Nagle, and welcome to the Quad B channel. I'm committed daily to doing a bipolar video journal, chronicling what it's like living with bipolar. All bipolar experiences are individualistic. And once again, all mine are an individual. This is a video introspection. I'm hoping to look back on this after a year, engage where my moods were, and maybe find an answer through my own treatment.